Welcome to Solutions. In this presentation, we're going to go over the process for creating solutions and frameworks to help with that.
Here's our key points. Topic 1 is aspects of your business to consider. When creating a solution, it's important to consider the following aspects of your business. You want to look at your core product and service offerings, product development lifecycle, price positioning and pricing strategy, competitive advantages and differentiators, product innovation and patents held, portfolio diversity, which is your breadth of offerings, discontinued products and product failures, subscription models, licensing or bundling, product reviews and ratings, and R&D investments and pipeline. Considering these factors will prove important as they each highlight a context important to your business that may not be directly connected to your product. Next, we have Scamper technique. The scamper technique is a classic yet underused method to tweak existing ideas or build on new ones by asking the following about your existing product offerings. Substitute, what can I replace? Combine, what features or systems can be combined into one? Adapt, what ideas can you borrow from another industry? Modify, can I exaggerate or minimize a feature? Put to another use, can this be used in a different way or different market? Eliminate, what can I remove to simplify or reduce friction? And rearrange, can I change the order or structure for better flow? You want to run this process through a whiteboard or a mirror session on a core problem and see what you find. Topic 3 is use constraints creatively. As an entrepreneur, your job is to think outside the box. The best innovations often come from limitations such as asking things like, what would this look like with a $0 budget? Or how would I solve this if users had no screens? And what if I had to ship this in just 1 week? A constraint example here is WhatsApp succeeded because they asked, how do we connect people with unreliable internet? The constraint of poor connectivity led to their lightweight, efficient messaging solution. These thought experiments force you into a new idea territory. Now, topic 4 is solution mapping. This is tiered solutions. You want to break your solution down into the core fix, which is the must-have values. Then the add-ons, features that are going to enhance your experience, and enablers, the tools or resources that are needed to succeed. This helps you prioritize what's most important and layer an expansion later on. Topic 5 is first principles thinking. When creating solutions, you want to make sure you're not just copying others. Break the problem down to its fundamental truths. Ask, what are the essential truths about this problem? Then build a solution from the ground up instead of just tweaking what's out there already. Uber didn't ask, how can we make taxis better? They asked, what do people really want? A ride on demand with no friction. This fundamental reframing created an entirely new industry. Topic 6 is fast prototyping loops. In this stage, speed matters more than polish because you're testing direction and not just perfection. You want to show your prototype to a potential user and ask, what would make this a hell yeah? Then you're going to repeat with different changes based on the feedback that you receive. Mock up your ideas quickly using tools such as Figma, a paper sketch, or no-code tools. Topic 7 is framing your solution as a story. Sometimes it can also help to frame your solution as a story. A user wakes up, faces X problem, uses Y solution, and ends the day with Z result. This process helps surface logic gaps or chunky flows to make your solution more emotionally grounded and see why it really matters. Topic 8 is anti-solution exercise. This is yet another brainstorming technique to help your solution from a different angle. To do this, you're flipping the question. Ask, what would be the worst way to solve this problem? And then ask, how does my real solution avoid these mistakes? This builds in defensive thinking and stress tests weak spots. Topic 9 is blue ocean angle. The blue ocean angle is yet another technique you can use to find a solution that can integrate into the real world. It involves asking, what can I create that no one else is offering? What part of the problem is overlooked or underserved? And what can I eliminate, raise, reduce, or create? This is the blue ocean strategy grid. To do this more systematically, you can also organize this into a checklist with 5 steps. First, understand what's really the user's problem? What causes it? Then diverge. What are more than 10 possible ways to address it, even if it's an absurd one? Next, you're going to converge. Which ideas of these 10 plus ones that you listed are most desirable, feasible, and viable? And then you're going to see with your prototype what's the fastest, cheapest way to test that. And then lastly, 5, you're going to validate. What evidence would prove a given solution doesn't already work or wouldn't work in the future? Topic 10 here is backdoor solution model. This technique is identifying a visible symptom, such as, let's say, my browser tabs overwhelm me, then building a solution to relieve it, and then layering in deeper features that fix the root problem, which in our browser example would be things like focus issues or decision fatigue. Next, we have intersection matrix. The intersection matrix is useful for plotting your specific niche. First, you identify your specific audience, a unique constraint, and finally, a specialized need. The framework for this is audience, in addition to limiting factor, in addition to your specific outcome or interest. For example, you could do freelance illustrators and chronic wrist pain and want to maintain productivity. Or you could do digital nomads and ADHD and want consistent morning routines. Now we have tiny market, big problem framework. You want to ask who has a burning pain that is too small for big companies to care about. What's the mission critical to them, even if it seems trivial to outsiders who aren't in their shoes? And then you want to ask, can I solve this better or faster than their current workaround? Or is what you're going to do really efficient? This can help you identify unique solutions that have a small yet needing market, allowing you to capture a niche. Now we have the process hacking framework. People hate steps, so you want to avoid them. Break down a user's current workflow for a given process and identify what steps are required, what steps are most annoying, time consuming, or error prone, and then what steps could be automated, combined, or skipped altogether. Using what you've already identified, you can build a solution that removes as many steps as possible, even if it's unscalable at first. Now we have the bundle and unbundle strategy. There are 2 ends to this. You can either unbundle a micro tool from a bundled solution, such as extracting a habit tracker for neurodivergent students from Notion, or you can bundle scattered solutions into a focused suite, such as, say, an all-in-one digital dashboard for pet sitters. These are some unbundling examples. You could, for example, extract a habit tracker for neurodivergent students from Notion, extract the filter app from Photoshop for Insta users, or extract Excel's budget tracker for personal finance using. Now we have the behavior first ideation. This strategy is focused on solving a repeated behavior rather than a simple task at hand. To do this, ask, what's the recurring behavior or trigger behind this niche need? What motivates, distracts, or blocks the user from doing this thing regularly? And what ritual, reward, or reminder can your solution build around that? A more encompassing solution focused on solving underlying bad habits can prove to be more appealing to customers seeking a more fundamental solution, because ultimately that is what everyone wants. Now we have the shallow stack versus deep stack. A shallow stack is a solution that is a single-use solution and it plugs in easily, great for low commitment or quick fix needs. For example, a one-click script to clean up duplicate emails would qualify as a shallow stack solution. A deep stack solution, on the other hand, is an integrated layered solution for long-term transformation. For example, a curriculum and dashboard and community and one-on-one coaching for tech students with anxiety. And that's it. Thank you for supporting us.